Ethan Bear. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function. If you have a follow-up, please ask it following your first. First question, Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Hey, Ethan. I just wanted to ask you a question about Puljujarvi, just sort of what your observations have been in his return this year, and maybe compare that to some of the things that you may have seen in your interactions with him the last time around.
Yesterday he seems a lot more confident. He's playing good hockey right now. I think he's, he has a lot of energy, and I think he wants to prove himself. And I think that's the biggest things I see.
Is there anything in his demeanor? Like it was notable to me that Tip, kind of on the first day of camp, talked about how he's kind of always smiling and happy, and it seems like he's brought a pretty positive attitude in, and maybe improved his English a bit, which has to help.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that he is a lot happier, and he's having a lot more fun, and I think that comes with confidence as well. Once you get more comfortable, more confident, you start to be yourself, and feel better about yourself. So I think he's doing that, and he's feeling that, and he's definitely feeling a lot better.
Thanks.
Next question, Reed Wilkins, 630 Ched.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, Ethan. Obviously, it's you never like to see a teammate get injured, and a pretty important guy is going to be out for a little while here. Tell me just how everybody's dealing with the news about Mike Smith, and how you kind of rally around Mikko or whoever goalie you have come in going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely always tough when you have a guy like Smitty go down, and especially his leadership. But I think we're just holding tight. He's a good athlete, and he's gonna come back strong. So we just gotta be patient, and in the meantime, just hold down the fort.
Thank you.
Next question, Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
If it's been a bit of a theme this year to try to, tighten up your own end and not give up as many sort of really good chances. If that's the theme, then does it become more important now that you're in a bit of a goaltending crisis here? Does this team need to really hunker down and play better defensively?
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the case, though. You always want to be great defensively in this league. It's you give up a chance, and a lot of guys are opportunistic. It usually ends up in the back of your net. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of confidence in Koski, and depending on how much of the workload he can handle with the really jam-packed season, I guess that's going to determine that question, and well, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see.
Thank you.
Next question, Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hey, Ethan, you guys are going basically from 0 to 100 here, and it obviously showed in that second game. You had your legs better than you did in the first. How do you feel personally, like it going from, you have no basically runway here. You just dropped the puck and went all out. How are you feeling from your first game to the second game to now?
Yeah, definitely a big improvement in the second game. I think the first game we were just kind of feeling it out too much. We weren't really playing our systems, and weren't really supporting each other too well, and we had a lot of breakdowns. And I think after a lot of video and Tip really harping on us in that second game, really helped us straighten a couple things out, and we started playing some real hockey after that.
Next question, Paul Gasol.
I'll ask you about you.
Sorry, Go ahead.
Sorry, no problem. Yeah, just a quick second one. Just want to ask you about your minutes and how do you manage them? Because you're playing basically every second day, and you're playing a lot more probably than you would have last year. How do you manage your minutes game by game here?
I think that just happens with the preparation before the game. How well you take care of your body, and with your nutrition and your rest. I think that's the biggest part, because when you go out and play, you just play, and I think that's the biggest thing is your preparation. And when you're prepared, you're not really worrying about that stuff too much.
Next question, Paul Gasol, Oilers.com.
Hey, Ethan. We typically see big fan bases like Toronto and Montreal enter Rogers Place and almost take it over Is there any advantage in that not being the case this year?
I mean, obviously, yeah. With fans, it's definitely without fans, it's different, right? So, I mean, you usually like to see those things when when you see a original 6 team come in and you see the fans that the following they have, and it's usually cool to see, and I usually like that stuff too. But it's definitely different, but I don't think it should really change anything.
Last question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Ethan, are you looking at this season, early part of the season, it's just kind of like the playoffs where you play every second day, except the difference is, you play a different team about every third day. Is that the way you're looking at it?
I mean, yeah, I think you kind of have to, right? Like, they're mini playoff series, and like, you're gonna play these guys like 10 times, which is a lot, and so you gotta get really familiar with each other, and you try to pick out the weaknesses and their strengths. So and try to pick away at that. But yeah, definitely a little mini playoff series.
Thank you.
This brings us to the conclusion of Ethan Bear's media availability. Please stay tuned for Alex Chiasson. Take questions with the raise hand function in English first, followed by French at the end. Again, if you have a follow-up question, please ask it following your first. Start with Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Alex, can you describe what your role is on that power play? You're down in that spot, and there's lots happening all around you, but just what your approach is to your role?
Yeah, I mean, third year being on that unit, so I think it's kind of read and react, seeing what's going on. Every team penalty kill is a little bit different. So obviously you got the big three, making plays and all that. I think for me, I pride myself in being hard around the net, retrieving pucks, whether it's off face-offs or shots from the blue line or whatnot, which gives us a second or third opportunity to do our thing again. So I bring a different element to the power play, and it seems our power play's done pretty well here in the last 2 years.
Wanted to ask you about Puljujarvi. What did you notice about him when he returned this year? Obviously, when a player goes missing for a couple of years and then comes back to the room, there's I don't know if that's difficult or not, but what did you sense in his approach to coming back with you guys?
He's a lot more confidence in himself, just like around the locker room and things like that. He's done a great job just being, feel more comfortable, and I think that gives him confidence. And he's a great athlete. That's probably one thing I noticed early on in when I came here. So he puts a lot of work in the gym. He takes care of his game. He's a hard worker, but I think just his presence around the locker room, I think just making him feel more comfortable, it's obviously impacted his play on the ice.
Next question, Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Yeah, Alex, I know that it's always special for you to play the Canadiens, and usually when they come to town, half the arena is filled with Canadiens fans, and there's a really weird or great really sense of synergy and energy in the building. Is it still special to play this team, and will it be strange that there aren't half the building is Canadiens fans today?
Yeah, I think regardless of the situation, it's obviously it's always a special game during the year. Obviously, I think it's a little bit unfortunate that there's no fans. The games against Montreal or Toronto, any Canadian teams are always special here at Rogers. So that's kind of been the theme here the last 8 or 9 months. So, but it's a big game for us. Obviously, it didn't start. Our first game of the season wasn't exactly how we planned. I thought we responded really well in the second game. So now it's a building block, and see how we can come out tonight.
Now, this is an opponent you usually face twice a year. Now you're going to face them 9 times a year. You're going to get more familiar with them and kind of build a bit of a rivalry here, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, I think all the Canadian teams, that's probably one thing that's special. And I think it's a thing that's going to carry over for the next couple of years, regardless of what the divisions look like. So I think everyone's looking forward to that.
Next question, Jack Michaels, 630 Ched.
Alex, I got the feeling last year that was one of the more kind of memorable moments on an individual and a team perspective when you got the game winner in Montreal. I apologize for kind of rehashing it, but it's been so long. I guess could you articulate your feelings on that game and any time you have a chance to line up against your hometown club?
Yeah, I mean, that was my first goal at Bell Center, so obviously that was pretty special. Just kind of also how the season went, the start of the year last year, and now my game was coming around then. I don't know, it seems like it was a year ago now, so. But yeah, playing Montreal is always special. Obviously growing up, parents would take my sister and I to the games, and kind of the same thing for guys that are from different Canadian places. So I think I always look forward to it. Obviously missing the fans will be one thing, but the energy of the game is still there, and which makes it just as special as it usually is.
That's all I have, Sean.
Thanks, Jack. Next question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Alex, can you talk to your goaltender situation here, where now Mikko looks like he's going to have to play pretty much every game until Mike gets back? And how well did you know Anton Forsberg, who seemed like he was here about 5 minutes, and now he's gone?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It was obviously probably the one season that you're going to need both goalies was going to be this year, and it's a heavy workload for Mikko. I don't know. That's a tough one for. He's going to play a lot of games. It's not going to be a lot of rest, so we're going to need to take good care of him. And I think also as a team too, realize that certain moments of the games are crucial. So it's also on us as players to take care of him and just be more mindful of how we play. And yeah, I think I had one or two conversations with Anton and just talking about teams he's played on, where he's from, and whatnot. So yeah, that's a crazy part of the game.
Thank you.
That ends our English questions. We'll now take some questions in French, starting with Jonathan Bernier, Journal de Montreal.
Thank you, Sean. Salut, Alex, ça va bien?
Oui, ça va bien, merci.
Good. Je voulais savoir, écoute, vous avez perdu en ronde de qualification l'été dernier. Évidemment, ça fait mal. Qu'est-ce que les gars ont retenu de cette expérience-là?
Oui, c'était évidemment pas le scénario qu'on espérait, le résultat non plus. Donc, je pense que cette année, c'est depuis le début du camp, avant même que le camp commence, quand même la majorité des joueurs étaient ici depuis milieu novembre, début du mois de décembre. Donc, on a eu la chance de parler de ça. Je pense que on a vraiment tous les ingrédients. On croit que pour avoir du succès, donc c'est de commencer au début de la saison, puis de continuer là-dedans, de ne pas prendre rien pour acquis. Donc, je pense que c'est un petit peu plus le mindset qu'on se doit de changer un petit peu. Puis, ça fait partie de leadership. Puis, je crois que nos gars qui sont ici, là, évidemment, Connor, Leon, les gars qui ont un impact sur l'équipe, je pense qu'ils ont pris vraiment un autre step là, dans la chambre. Puis, évidemment, quand ces joueurs-là se lèvent ou juste par leur façon de travail, là, je pense que c'est quelque chose qui est contagieux au travers de l'équipe. Puis, c'est vraiment un gars qui est comme moi, qui est un petit peu plus vieux. Il fait partie de quelques équipes, a eu la chance de gagner la Coupe. Je trouve que c'est spécial d'avoir des jeunes joueurs comme ça avec beaucoup de talent, prendre un step de leadership. Là.
En fait, au cours de la saison morte, Ken Holland a fait quelques acquisitions, ramené aussi Puljujarvi, comme vous en parliez tantôt. Toi, est-ce que ça a changé ton rôle au sein de l'équipe?
Pour moi, je crois que c'est vraiment... ça fait partie de ma carrière. J'ai toujours été un gars qui... je prends rien pour acquis. Je dois travailler pour mes minutes, mes situations. Donc, évidemment, on a plus de profondeur cette année, ce qui est peut-être une chose qui est bonne pour l'équipe. Personnellement, je continue de travailler sur ma game, à essayer de m'améliorer à tous les jours. C'est comme ça que je vais pouvoir rester dans la Ligue.
Next question, Guillaume François, La Presse.
Oui, salut Alex. Ben écoute, je voulais justement te poser une question là-dessus sur la profondeur de l'équipe. C'est ta 3e année à Edmonton. Comment tu comparerais votre profondeur cette année, là, surtout à l'attaque par rapport à ce que tu as vu dans à tes 2 premières années ici?
Oui, évidemment, beaucoup plus de profondeur. Je pense que ça fait partie de aussi la saison qu'on a présentement là, avec les blessures, le nombre de matchs, tout ce qui se passe autour de nous autres. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui est bon pour une équipe, peu importe la situation. Je pense qu'on a une équipe qui est capable, évidemment, nos gros joueurs vont toujours rester nos gros joueurs. C'est des gars qui ont un impact sur les matchs à tous les soirs. Donc, plus qu'on avance dans la saison, je pense que la profondeur, c'est toujours quelque chose qui peut nous aider.
Si on recule à ta première année, tu jouais presque 17 minutes par match. On voit que tes minutes ont diminué. Laquelle des 2 situations tu préfères? Est-ce que tu aimes mieux avoir un plus gros rôle ou un plus petit rôle, mais peut-être dans une équipe plus profonde?
Ouais, ben, c'est une question à couteau à 2 tranchants. Évidemment, personnellement, je pense qu'en tant que joueur, tu veux toujours avoir un rôle avec plus de minutes, plus d'opportunités. Mais d'un autre côté, si mes minutes, si mon temps de jeu baisse un petit peu, mais j'ai toujours un impact sur les performances de l'équipe. Puis ça nous donne une chance de pouvoir jouer en série, d'avoir une chance de gagner. Pour l'avoir vécu une fois, je pense que c'est un feeling qui est spécial. Donc, c'est sûr que le succès de l'équipe passe avant tout.
Next question, Guillaume Lepage, NHL.com.
Salut Alex, tu as parlé de l'avantage numérique un peu plus tôt en anglais. Qu'est-ce qu'un gars comme Tyson Barrie peut apporter à votre unité en termes de créativité, ce qu'il amène sur la patinoire?
Je pense que c'est un gars qui est très confiant, son lancer. S'il voit une ligne, je pense que c'est quelqu'un qui il prend sa décision, il est confiant avec sa décision. Donc, c'est un petit peu un style différent de Oscar Klefbom, évidemment, qui ne joue pas cette année. Donc, je pense que les gars ont eu la chance de faire du vidéo ou pratiquer notre unité depuis le début de la saison. Donc, c'est un look qui est un petit peu différent pour nous autres, mais il s'adapte très bien. Puis, je crois pas qu'il va y avoir de problème là, de pouvoir avoir du succès sur la première unité.
Last question, Patrick Henry, Radio Canada.
Alex, Mikko Koskinen est un peu mal connu à l'extérieur d'Edmonton. Je pense qu'il n'a pas une très bonne réputation. Toi, tu le connais bien, tu joues avec depuis quelques années. Tu penses qu'il est capable de faire le travail et de garder beaucoup plus de matchs que ce qui était prévu?
Oui, je crois que oui. Je pense que il a prouvé dans les dernières années qu'il était capable de goaler des gros matchs pour nous autres. Puis, évidemment, avec la blessure de Mike, ça lui donne une opportunité de pouvoir jouer plus de matchs. Donc, comme je disais tantôt, je pense que c'est aussi à nous autres en équipe de pouvoir l'aider là-dessus. Nos décisions. Donc, il y a tous les aspects d'un goaler pour avoir du succès. Donc, nous, on croit en ses moyens. Puis, je crois que tout va bien se passer.
On a vu quelque chose en troisième période du dernier match qu'on n'est pas habitué de voir. Vous avez, plutôt que jouer pour augmenter votre avance, vous avez semblé jouer pour la conserver, plus défensif, un peu ce que vous aviez dit pendant le temps d'entraînement. On risque de voir ça plus souvent cette année, tu penses?
En fait, c'est plutôt le contraire. Je ne crois pas qu'on a joué de façon défensive. Je pense qu'on a continué de jouer agressif juste en jouant notre système qu'on joue, qu'on pratique. Donc, je pense que c'est vraiment la différence. C'est de continuer de faire nos jeux, de continuer d'attaquer avec la vitesse, d'avoir un bon échec avant. Je pense que dans les dernières années, on restait un petit peu en arrière de vouloir pas faire d'erreur. Je pense qu'on essaye de continuer de jouer notre match, à prendre les bonnes décisions. Ça a paru en troisième période.
Thank you. This brings us to the conclusion of Alex Chiasson's media availability. Please stay tuned for Jesse Puljujarvi. Thank you, Alex. Question, please use the raise hand function. If you have a follow-up, please ask it following your first. First question, Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Hi, Jesse. Can you describe Dave Tippett as a coach and the ways that he is helping you?
I think he's been really well. Good guy. We have a couple of conversations before those games, and I feel confidence about that and being going forward.
Other than trying to produce offense, what do you think the most important things are that you're doing on the ice to be reliable?
I think just skating hard, work hard, both ways. I think that's the really important thing.
Next question, Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Jesse. How difficult an adjustment is it from playing on the big ice the last 2 seasons to going back to the small ice? Is it easier to adjust now that you were here before, or is it still a kind of a tough adjustment because you were playing on the big ice for so long?
I think it's just mental thing. Small ice, you have to stop or start more and that kind of stuff. But I think it's a lot of mental. You just focus little things more.
Now, you've been playing since September. Do you feel that you may be a little bit ahead of everybody else because you have been playing, and a lot of these players, basically, they're just played 1 or 2 games right now?
I think maybe a little bit, but my last game was like almost 2 months ago, so I think it's not a big thing, but of course a little bit. I have now like 18 games this season, so helps maybe a little bit, but I think day by day it's not big thing.
Next question, Guillaume Lafrancois, La Presse.
Hi, Jesse. Every time we speak with Dave Tippett, when he talks about you, he talks about how your English has improved and maybe this helps you. I'm just curious to know whether or not you think that it does help you being more comfortable than the first time you were here.
Of course, it's helped a lot. It's better, but it's not best. But I can do conversation many guys, so that's helped a lot. And of course, if you can speak and be friends with guys and that kind of stuff, helps a lot.
Do you feel like hockey-wise, it wasn't good for you when you were here the first time around? Like, do you feel you were not always understanding what the coaches were asking you?
I think maybe like the first year, maybe something things, but I don't really remember anymore.
Last question, Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Yes, Dave Tippett said early in training camp that he loved the fact you were always smiling and seemed to be really happy. Ethan Bear said today that he thinks you seem a lot happier. Do you feel that way this time around, and why do you think that is?
I think it's my thing. If I'm happy and smiling, then I play better and everything is better. But you know, it's not always like that. We have 365 days in a year, so sometimes you don't smile. And but now it's going well, so why not be happy? I'm really happy to be here again and enjoying every day playing NHL. So that's really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no more questions, that brings us to the conclusion of Jesse Puljujarvi's media availability. Thank you, Jesse, and we'll be joined by head coach Dave Tippett shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Follow-up, please ask it following your first. Start with Jim Matheson, Post Media.
So now, Dave, with Mike Smith out on long term, you're going to have to ride one goalie, Mikko, for a long time. This obviously wasn't your game plan going into the season with so many games jammed in the early part of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing is we had a back-to-back to start. Now we don't play back-to-back for a little bit here, so we can get him he can get some rest between games, but not ideal, but we'll work through it. It's a great opportunity for Koski to jump in and really take the ball and run with it.
Now, does your team have to play a little differently when you only got really one NHL goaltender?
No, we want to defend well no matter who's in net, so we're not going to play any different. We're going to try to defend as best we can.
Next question, Reed Wilkins, 630 Chad.
Thanks. Dave, what, if anything, do you know about Troy Grosnick?
Not a lot, no. He hasn't played a lot of time in the NHL, but talking to our scouts there and talking to Schwartzy, he's had some real quality time in the AHL, and he'll come in and give us an option.
And just, I saw Ennis on the ice yesterday, wondering if he's available for today, and if you can give us any, if he is going to play, if there's any lineup changes today.
Yeah, he's available today. Looks like he'll go in today.
Next question, Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Dave, you talked yesterday quite a bit about what you've seen on the ice from Puljujarvi. I just wonder a little bit about off the ice. I noticed on day one of training camp, you commented that you loved the fact he was, smiling a lot and seemed really positive. And what have you noticed in his demeanor and maybe in the way his teammates that were here before seem to have accepted him back?
I think a lot has to do with the language. When he was here last time, I don't think he didn't speak English very well. He probably understood it better, but now he's just he knows the language well. He's just part of the group. He doesn't feel like he's has to be outsider because he doesn't know how to speak. So he's in there. He's joking around with guys in practice. He's joking around with guys. He's a fun-loving guy that's come. He plays hard every day, and he's enjoying what he's doing. So I think the combination, I keep going back to the maturity. He's more mature than he was a couple years ago. The language isn't a barrier for him anymore. He's just more comfortable in all the surroundings.
Based on the skate that I just watched, looks like Kara coming out tonight. Just maybe a thought on what you've seen from him so far and what every night he needs to do to be an everyday guy.
He's been okay. I mean, he's helped our penalty kill, but right now it's a matter of we've got some players that we want to get up and going. It's early in the season. We want to have a chance to see everybody. I want to have a look at Shore in the middle. Nygaard will come in tonight, and he actually played very well over in Sweden and hasn't got a chance to play yet, so we're going to get him up and going. So it's probably a little less about what JJ was doing and more about trying to get other players up and going and see what we have.
Next question, Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
So it's kind of weird with these call-ups of these goalies. Like, you've seen a lot of stuff in your years, but you're bringing in a guy from Austria. He's got to wait, I guess, 2 weeks. You're bringing in a guy from LA. He's got to wait 2 weeks. Like, these guys are coming in, but they're not going to help very soon, Dave.
You know what? I'm focusing on the two that we have here right now, and that's plenty for me to focus on right now. When the other guys finish quarantine and get here, we'll figure out where they fit in.
Can you, Koskinen's played well for you, but it's obviously the question with him is the more he's played, it hasn't been as good. Do you take a run at playing him all the time now? Do you give him a chance to show that he can be an everyday guy?
It's early in the year, so there's lots of energy. The time that I thought that the year before I came here, he had played a lot of games in a row, and he looked tired near the end of that year. So it's early in the year. He feels really good. We'll manage his workload and practice and stuff, and he's got to be the guy for a while. So hopefully he comes in and plays well.
Next question, Arpon Basu, The Athletic.
Hey, Dave, you mentioned, wanting to defend as well as you can. What sort of challenges do the Canadiens present in the way that particularly their forward group is structured?
The Canadiens or every other team, you want to defend whoever you're playing against. The Canadiens they've got a good group of forwards, real balanced group of forwards, some good speed, skill. They put a lot of pucks at the net, so those are all challenges we'll have in front of us. But it doesn't matter who we're playing. We want to defend as well as we can. We want to make that a staple in our game. We feel like we can create enough chances, but we have to defend well.
Thank you.
Next question, Guillaume Lafrancois, La Presse.
Hi, Dave. What do you see in Alex Chiasson's game that enables you to put him on that first power play? What do you like about his game, and what skills does he have to be there?
Really strong in front of the net. Has a good read on what the other players are doing, when he needs to be in front of the goaltender, when he has to pop out. So, and he works on loose pucks. So, that's one of his strengths. That's a role he plays on our team, and he does it very well.
All right, thank you.
If there are no more questions, that brings us to the conclusion of Dave Tippett's media availability. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, media.